allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call of council, please.
Councilmember King.
Here.
Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Putnam.
Here.
Councilmember Olivera. Here. Councilmember Walker.
Here.
Councilmember Garberding. Here. Councilmember Steiger.
Here.
So, are there any additions or changes to tonight's agenda? I am going to have to pull item number 5 off the agenda since it was unable to make it tonight. So we'll save that for our next regular meeting. Any other additions, changes to tonight's agenda? Okay, all those in favor of the agenda as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving on. Next item on the agenda is a presentation with Commissioner Nancy Henderson, Pure Transit Board of Commissioners. She's not here. Nancy? Nope, I don't see her. Okay. We may end up circling back around to that. So next up on the agenda is audience comment. So I have a few up here. We'll go ahead and start with Don Thompson.
Don Thompson, Baller 6 Second Avenue, Southeast Pacific. First off, I want to comment on your striking in the city. It looks real good. It's something people could see. It looks like we're doing something. A little bit of more practice, maybe we'll get some of the white lines and middle road marks so we can see them on a rainy night. Also, I was looking in the paper, and I noticed that Alcoa and Auburn, even some that they work with their events like Beaker Days, Algona Days, Auburn's special events and whatnot. And it'd be very nice if the City of Pacific could step up a little bit and help fund some of the Pacific Days and do a little bit more involvement with it. This reason is something that citizens can see. It's something that citizens can participate in. And what it'll do is actually promote the city more. It'll also enhance the relationship between city government and the citizens of the city. Thank you.
Thank you. So, do we want to have Human Services look at that? We'll look forward to Human Services kind of take a look at that. So, next up is Carla Hopkins.
I'm Carla Hopkins. I'm with the King County Library System. The Algona Pacific Library is one of the ones that I oversee in the South County, and I'm here to thank you and also the City of Pacific for helping us celebrate our 20th anniversary in that new building. And thank you for picking out your author, Nora Roberts. We hope that you hang this in your office, and one will be hung in the Algona Pacific Library also. But we do want to thank you and also the citizens of the City of Pacific, because that is a hopping library under Camille Wilson, who manages that library. And Camille Wilson has been with the King County Library System, actually prior to that, because we transferred some of her hours over from the City of Pacific and the City of Algona for 37 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anyway, that was a fun event. That was from when we did the 20th anniversary from the Pacific Algona Library. Okay, next up, Mark Gingrich. Did I say that right?
Yes. I'll have to follow the excellent poster there, but forgive me, I don't have any nice visual aids. Good evening, Council and the Mayor. My name is Mark Gingrich. I'm with Murray's Indiana Disposal. I'm the District Manager at 4822 70th Avenue East in Fife, and I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. When 4 members of the council voted in favor of the waste management proposal on May 18th, it was estimated that the financial differences between the two proposals over 10 years was $500,000. Councilman Walker, the lone vote opposed to the waste management proposal, referenced this large price difference as a factor in his vote. With information published 9 days after the vote, we now know the financial differences between the two proposals is closer to $1.9 million over the life of the contract instead of the $500,000. This is because on May 27th, the city released additional documents related to the RFP. These additional documents were example invoices which demonstrated how certain taxes and fees would be applied. The reason for this difference stems from a question we asked during the RFP process regarding the $23.60 monthly residential rate cap, a rate cap requested by the city in the proposal. The answer given by the city in Addendum 2, Question 8, clearly stated that the $23.60 did include all line item fees and taxes other than utility tax. Addendum 3, published at the very last minute, left uncertain but did not correct the clearly stated answer in Addendum 2, which led to our assumption that waste management's rates were grossed up to include certain taxes and fees. With apologies for being overly technical here, the waste management 35-gallon residential bid was $23.55, which is 5 cents below the cap. So it appeared that their rates had to have included all line item fees and taxes, as the additional fees and taxes would have pushed their rates more than $1.50 a month above the $23.60 cap. Based upon the unclear and contradictory addendum answers, it is questionable whether the proposal they submitted was even compliant with the RFP language in terms of meeting that cap. Only after we were able to review the May 27th example invoices, we learned that the other proponent's proposal would cost the local residents and businesses the $1.9 million more over our proposal over the life of the contract. In the proposal evaluations, there were several references to the other proponent's CNG trucks and their environmental benefits. Did you know that based on the number of collection trucks operating in Pacific, the annual reduction in greenhouse gas emissions from CNG trucks is only equivalent to just one-way flight from Seattle to Minneapolis each year? While we are always supportive of the environment, perhaps the environmental benefit was overemphasized when compared to the true bid costs. We understand that the city intends to hold public debate on June 22nd on the proposed contract, and we hope that the citizens and businesses of Pacific know about this issue. We would hope the council would also be debating the merits of this potential solid waste contract in light of the additional costs being billed to the community. Thank you.
Great. Do you have, your comments in writing that we can submit to legal counsel?
Yes.
If you could send them to us, just click that would be great.
Sure.
Or email that.
No, email. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Next on the agenda, Dan Schuler.
Mayor and Council, my name is Dan Schuler. I'm with Waste Connections Vice President. I live in Graham, Washington. I'm here also to comment on the garbage contract negotiations that you decided on a few weeks ago. I hope you have all received and had a chance to read a letter that I sent out in the middle of last week. I'm going to refer to that letter quite a bit in my comments, and I'll try and keep this under 3 minutes. I've been in the waste business for about 25 years, and for over 20 years I've been negotiating contracts and responding to RFPs like you have with the City of Pacific. In that time, only once have I stood in front of a city council like I am today. I am not a sore loser. Win or lose, I've always walked away respecting a council's decision. I do feel strongly that the decision you made a few weeks ago was the wrong one for the businesses and citizens of Pacific. It was one made, in my belief, without staff and the committee sharing with you all of the complete facts of the bids. Over the past year, I believe that the city staff and the committee, led by Councilmember Cave and Councilmember Steiger, used our company as a pawn with the intent of negotiating a deal, one that turns out to be a bad deal. I believe the city never intended on negotiating with Murray's, and the RFP was a poor attempt to make the process seem like a fair one. During the past year, while Murray's continued to provide great service and desire to negotiate with the city for an extension, many calls and emails were ignored. What little communication we did receive was that the city was working on it and they would get back to us. Only at the point that this issue was brought up to the full council by Mark and our attorney earlier this year did the city make an effort to bid out services. The city's RFP was incomplete, full of mistakes, very different from other solid waste RFPs that I have been involved with. And ultimately, we feel there was virtually little review of the bid we turned in. My letter outlined many legal and procedural issues, including the history of the past year, a summary of the RFP process and its fatal flaws, a poor review process, a very important summary of the price difference, and finally Murray's legal right to continue service in the Pierce County area under our G certificate. Related to price, as Mark mentioned, I referred to comments in the May work session by Councilmember Walker about the $500,000 difference. No one from staff or the committee disputed that amount at that time. I wrote this letter because, as in the past, the city ignored my request to discuss this issue face to face. I finally did receive a response late on Friday from what was clearly written by an attorney, only concerning the legal items that I brought up. In this letter, Mr. Gould did not acknowledge any of the financial issues or the communication to council on how scoring of price was calculated, or any of the other items that I mentioned in my letter. I believe there was intent by staff to deceive council as to the true value of the bid that we submitted, which by our count, as Mark mentioned, was at least $1.9 million lower than our competitor. And also likely the committee did not receive accurate information on the price component, or possibly did not fully understand the differences. Based on these factors, I suggest the council reconsider its decision, take a step back, and truly make a decision that is good for the citizens and businesses of Pacific. Thank you.
So, sir, I think the same question.
Sure.
That'd be great. Thank you so much. Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, Laura Moser.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Laura Moser with Waste Management. I just want to say that tonight is one of the most important decisions in going ahead and scheduling public hearing on the proposed solid waste contract. Essentially, it's an administrative matter, and that follows your decision to name Waste Management as your preferred vendor. There are no substantive contract issues left to work out. Our legal counsels have gone over language, and we're down to some liability insurance, but those are not substantive. I'm confident that we can have language for you by the 22nd. On May 18th, you reached an important decision. Waste Management is the only vendor that met the city's policy goals. Only Waste Management meets your goals on the environment. Our trucks dramatically reduce air pollution, greenhouse gases. They are quieter, and we have a proven record that we can process your recyclables and reduce your impact on the Cedar Hills landfill. Waste Management will provide service using professional drivers, represented by their unions and paid a fair and living wage. These are drivers who have served your city well for many, many years. Waste Management has exceeded the policies and values articulated in the city's RFP. That is the essence of the value you receive from Waste Management. We're the only company that delivered what you thought. And the vast majority of your residents will get expanded service at less cost than the rates they pay today, the rates you set years ago when you were the billing agent. With Waste Management, you get a partner interested in the success of the city. You get the value you sought. That's the Waste Management difference. Thank you.
Can I ask you thinking? Thank you very much. Is there any other members of the audience that would like to speak on the public comment? Okay. Seeing none, I think Nancy made it clear. So we'll go ahead and circle back to the presentation from Commissioner Nancy Henderson from Pierce, Kansas.